partner checklist. We invite you to do that, and we actually would love to see it, whether it be before or after, well, we're already here. After the event, you can email that to support@businessacceleratonnetwork.com. This is a great opportunity to take a look at kind of where you're at and what do you have in your toolbox, and you'll ideally, as we go along today, learn a lot more about this.
Welcome, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
Want some golf soon?
Okay, so now I'm hitting record, and here we go. Okay, perfect. Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am super thrilled to be here with I know not supposed to have favorites, but my number one power partner, who I've had the opportunity to work together. We're thrilled today to be bringing in other organizations such as King's Council and Trust Family Office, Business Acceleration Network, individuals as a super brand publishing to talk to you today about Unleash the Power of Partnership Strategies for Building Thriving Alliances. And this is a topic that has been just really powerful for both of us, and excited for you guys to learn more. Juliet, real quick, I gave you permission to...
I'm letting them in.
Okay, perfect. I didn't know if you saw that. So what if you could generate 70% more revenue? What would that be like? And that's one of the things that we found with Power Partnership. And in partnering, we've also found that this is a place to get support, assistance, help, collaborate, share. And a big part of what we're doing today is participate. And so imagining you and Power Partners can equal more clients. But beyond that is your audience and your partner's audience. That's who they connect with, who's following them. This can lead you to more exposure, more closes, and more revenue. And so today we are really excited to, ideally our goal and mission is to help you unleash the potential of strategic collaboration. And so we sent you the checklist. If you didn't get it, I'll drop that in here again. This is a great way to look, are you ready? And we'll talk a little bit more about that, is that we found that a lot of people want to be in Power Partners, but they may not be ready yet. And so today, ideally, we want to work with you on what are those key places to get ready and be able to use this checklist to learn more about that. Did everybody get the checklist? I know some of you just came on at the end. I dropped that in. We do invite you, if you want to go ahead and email that to us. I'll put that in just a moment after I introduce Juliet. So Juliet Clark is with Superbrand Publishing. Those of you that know her, she runs our Authors Corner in our community. She is a woman on a mission to help individuals build platforms that really amplify their brand and amplify their message. And she has been a catalyst for really opening up. She's here today, and part of why I'm so grateful she's here today is she's the one that really introduced me to the concept of putting a power partner model into your business and into your focus. And when I watched her building her business and said, hey, can we partner together, and really looking at her system that she created, I got super excited. So over the last couple of years, I've kind of like, okay, this is a model that builds sustainability, ends up becoming somewhat recession-proof because you're in it together, and a lot more. So Juliet, thank you so much. Anything else you want to say that maybe I missed?
Thank you. So this is, I want you guys to know, this isn't like a flash in the pan thing. I have been using this for 20 years now, from advertising to real estate to my current business. I've been in several different businesses, and it works. It really does work. So you guys, you all know Shannon. Look at, she's all embarrassed. So all of you guys are probably part of the Business Acceleration Network, or have at least explored it. Shannon is known for her $1 million Rolodex. This is why this is so great for the two of us, because not because I use her Rolodex, but because she's been a relationship builder for a really long time. And I think with digital coming into the space, we've really kind of lost a little bit of that. So, is there anything you want to add, Shannon?
No, I mean, part of why I'm passionate about this is really what fosters community. This is really what lessens the load. This power partner concept and way of being is something that I love. And I love the idea of being able to ride the wave together. There's this really feeds into our vision and mission of reinventing entrepreneurship through community and collaboration. So thank you, Juliet. Juliet, I added this slide here. I went up and I was like, what is the definition of power partnership? And so big, bold letters, to me, this is success. This is a strategic alliance between individuals, businesses aimed to maximize success through collaborative efforts. By pooling resources, expertise, and networks, power partners empower each party to achieve unprecedented growth, innovation, and market expansion. And so we want to look at what's out there right now in the marketplace and is it working? So Juliet, networking events. I want to contribute to this piece. You want to talk a little bit about networking events?
So, networking events can be really great if you have the right networking events. For any of you who, and I don't want to name names here, but if you've been a part of some of these larger network organizations, they're really sort of a tit for tat. You're sitting around a table or an event with people who don't have like-minded businesses, but want you to step in and promote their business. And I personally was the president of a networking group and quit because I quickly realized that breakfast that I was going to, and this was probably 14 years ago, that breakfast that I was a part of, nobody wanted to learn and grow. They just wanted to be there and say, hey, I'm Joe Schmo, and please send people to my construction business. And even though I tried to put forth efforts to grow, they shut me down. And the final straw was actually when I said, I want to have a global business. And they all looked at me like I had grown a third eye. So I literally quit my own networking group that day. So there's good things and there's bad things. And you really have to evaluate what's working and what you're a part of.
Yeah, and for me, I see so many people. I love events, help people with events. I see so many people spend endless hours going from event to event to event, and barely do they take the time to really look at the ROI or even see if it's a good fit. Right? I really feel like you could maybe attend one event as opposed to 20 events and have a greater impact and strategy that is there. I really went into event burnout by thinking that was the way to grow my business, and it was exhausting.
Yeah. The other thing you'll find from these is people will invite you, and then you start seeing the same people over and over that you already knew weren't a good fit.
Yes. Oh, whoa. Sorry.
Wow, you went all the way to the end.
Yeah. Here we go. Let me stay over here. Next thing is affiliate marketing. Oh my gosh, Juliet. For me, go ahead.
Affiliate marketing is a great way to make nickels and dimes. There's not a lot unless you're doing it on a mass quantity. Affiliate marketing is, $3 here, $5 there. That's my takeaway from it. The other thing that I see a lot out there with affiliate marketing is there are a lot of coaches that are pushing products that may or may not be good for you. And I experienced that back in 2016 when a coach I had pushed Infusionsoft on a bunch of newbies. And if you've ever used Infusionsoft, you know it was really expensive, hard to use, and the only person that was making money from it was the coach who was getting the residual income from us all floundering. So, Shannon, what about you? What do you think of affiliate?
Well, I know that this was something because I love partnering and collaborating. And so I did think that this was a great way. And I spent probably a good year and a half, two years putting resources into it, putting money into it, doing all kinds of marketing. And at the end of the day, the return on investment was not worth it. I mean, I definitely, I mean, I still have affiliates, I share things and things like that, but it didn't give me the impact that I was looking for. And many of them after a year's time, like, this was great, but you're relying on, does their stuff convert? Right? A lot of times they'll give you a link, they'll give you this information, and if it doesn't convert, because maybe they don't have a video or maybe they don't have the right language, then I could do everything right, but it's still not turning into cash flow. Next one, joint ventures.
Wow, I have a lot to say about this. I used to coach for a big joint venture coaching program out there. And what I found with this is you get a bunch of partners together, and then you give them a link, and they'll make some money if their people buy the link from there, going to a webinar or whatever it is. What I found with joint ventures is extremely impersonal. A link is not a relationship. You have to rely on the goodness of that person who you're promoting to actually pay you. And as we moved into a relationship or an economic situation like we had now, back in like 2008, 2009, 2010, you could sell, your clients could come into it, and then 3-4 months later, you're chasing down that person for your money. And, you know, a lot of times they'd say, oh, well, you know, things were tight. Sorry, you're not going to get paid. So you can put out a lot of time, energy, and effort doing this. The other thing I found too is a lot of the joint ventures out there that people are promoting, a lot of big dead lists came from it, because the people showing up for the webinars, the events, they wanted free stuff. And if you've ever gone through a training on how to do a webinar, you know you go just enough to wet their whistle, but not enough for them to actually do the tasks that you're trying to teach. So for me, this is a waste. And people are spending a lot of money to be a part of these joint venture groups, and it's really difficult to get money out of them. The only people that win are the people out there that have the products that you're pushing. Shannon, did you want to say anything about this?
Yeah, I have to say, right now I'm noticing in the marketplace that there's a lot of people that are starting businesses as joint venture experts. And when they come into our community, which is about, I mean, to me, our community feels like family and it feels like collaboration, and it's just instantly selling. And what can I get from you selling? And I'm going to give you money if you sell. And they're missing the heart of business. It's all about the money, and it's all about what can I do to get you to sell, and I'll make you money. The conversations start from that point instead of the heart point. So it's really, in my opinion, not something I'm super attracted to. Thank you, Juliet. So what are some of the benefits of power partnerships? Market expansion, good relationships, cool people you get to hang out with, cost savings. There's things that you can do together to save money. Access to new products, things to expand your opportunities and revenue and cash flow. Enhanced credibility when we come together, and sometimes we align with certain things. This helps us add more credibility to what we're doing. And mentorship. There's been many times in Juliet and my partnership where she's given me input, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this was priceless. This totally changed what I was doing. And we do value that as one of the benefits, that when you're looking at like a joint venture and you're just focused on the money, you're really missing all of these other pieces. And we have the increased revenue in the middle, but that tends to be the ripple effect that happens from this. So what is a power partner, and what are you looking for? This is the key part of what we want to talk about, of what are the 6 things to identify a good partner. And Juliet, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Okay. So the first one is the right partner. One of the things I noticed when I was working for the JV organization was that there was a lot of, hey, I like you, let's do some business together. But they may not have been the right partner. You don't know, what does their funnel look like? Are they in integrity? Is their product complementary to mine? How would you make all of that work? So at first it might be a little hit and miss. And one of the things I really want to say about the right partner is if you come across someone that you think might be the right partner, check them out on social media, check them out in other places, and don't feel bad about picking up the phone and asking what experiences other people have had, because you want someone that is very much in integrity. I actually had an experience where someone asked me to come and speak at their event. It was a $10,000 event for me to go speak. I picked up the phone, I asked some questions. First thing I heard is she will pillage the room before you ever get there and pocket that 10,000. So that for me was an easy no. And thank God I picked up the phone and didn't waste my time with it. So looking for the right partner and really digging in and making sure that they're the right partner to move forward.
Because it is kind of like a marriage, and you got to be thinking about, who do I want to play with? That's also the fun part of this, is who do I want to spend my time with, right? Who do I want to be talking to? And this is somebody that ideally you don't want to be looking at the short term of what money can we make now. It's like, this is somebody that I want to be talking to on a regular basis, and do I want them in my life? And Juliet, I'm just going to add one thing. When you talked about the test, the picking up the phone and doing your due diligence, a lot of times one of the things to ask is, who do you know that was there? Because I may give Juliet my best referrals, right? I want her to talk to the people that are happy, but they may know other people that are there that can lead a little bit deeper down. So thank you, Juliet.
Yeah, it's a biggie there. So the right connection, really evaluating what is it that you're doing together. Is this someone who has a skill set that could make your business better? Do you have a skill set that makes them better? Because this really is a reciprocal relationship. And she's right, it is like a marriage. So do they resonate with you? Do they resonate with your clients? Do you have the same business philosophies? All of this is really important, because ideally, not only are you getting referrals from your partner, but you're referring as well. So you don't want to give, if you're somebody who's a server, you don't want to hand your people off to somebody who's a seller, and vice versa. And one of the things behind this is to make sure that you always line your people and yourself with servers out there. There are a lot of people who are just worried about that bottom line, and it's sell, sell, sell. You want to build relationships, not only with the people you're referring, but the people referred to you and your partner.
Yeah, and so I know we have a couple of organizations where they have their own power partner process. And so like King's Council and Trust Family Office and Business Acceleration Network, and they have those core values that have to align with what they're working through. Dale says safety through syndication, relationships of trust.
Yes.
And so really identifying those core values up front and seeing if they resonate. And again, some of these organizations already have this when they work with Empower Partners.
Mm-hmm. And I think the other part of that too is looking at action versus words. That's where that trust is. Is that person doing what they say they're going to do? Do they appear, are they as they appear? Because there's a lot of deception out there. History of service. Again, are you working with a server? Are you working with a seller? Is this someone who has a contract and delivers on that contract? Is it someone that has a lot of good reviews, legitimate reviews? One of the things I look for, and if you're not doing this already, you should be, over on LinkedIn. Every time when you finish with a client or finish with a partner, have them go over to LinkedIn and write that review. You'd be amazed how many people have, when you go to their website, may or may not have legitimate testimonials over there. If they're on LinkedIn, you know they're good. And by the way, it's a great place to cut and paste when you're doing your landing pages and showing other people that you're in integrity, making sure that they are actually doing what they say they do and that people are happy with their services. The last thing you want to do is hand off your clients who you adore off to somebody who doesn't do what they say they're going to do, doesn't have a great history of service, and doesn't perform. So the next three we're going to get into, you notice it's a little darker there. These are sort of contractual things that you need to be aware of. So reciprocal relationship. A lot of times these don't work out, like the JVs and all those other things, because one person is doing all the work and the other one is not referring. You want to make sure when you're in this that you're in a reciprocal relationship. Being a power partner is not just about trading off clients. With Shannon and I have a couple other partners too. I guess that makes me a polygamist at this point. One of the things is that my partners, we all have a skill set. So I can pick up a phone and say, hey, Shannon, could you take a look at this? She has marketing skills that I don't have necessarily. And really it breaks my heart when she says, you forgot this. And I'm like, how did I not see that? So make sure that you're in this reciprocal relationship where you're getting benefit from all of those partners and you're also giving benefit as well. For me and my partners, we usually schedule at least once a month. Sometimes, it'll go a little further out, but it's not just to talk about business and new products, but what can we do together? How can we push each other's business forward? So it really is a relationship that is built on, coming together and being able to make both businesses better. I saw Wilma ask here, JV is a joint venture on there. I think you missed the slide. So that's what I mean by reciprocal relationship. It's not just I'm going to give somebody some business and I expect you to give it back. We could do that at a B&I meeting. This is really helping each other, looking over marketing materials, running ideas by them. It's great. It's really valuable to have a partner who said, oh, you know what? I tried that before and it just didn't resonate with people. If you're going to do it, do a spin-off or do something different. That extra ear or that extra sounding board for you can be really beneficial to your business.
Yeah, and I love what you brought up of the value being beyond the bottom line. I know there's times where I'm like, Juliet, I haven't given you a referral, but I feel like with the things we do together, and I know that, as you've said, there's things we contribute to each other beyond that. So it's the relationship that makes it really powerful.
Timely pay. I cannot say enough about this. In my JV world and what I've observed from the JV world, there's a lot of times you have to chase down that person that you marketed for to get paid. And that's not integrity at all. If you've ever encountered a partner like that, my recommendation is drop them immediately. There are no excuses when you've brought them business and you're not getting paid for that business. Personally, on our end, we pay 10%. We pay the day we get the money in. So have an agreement in your contract, make it clear when you're going to get paid on those. And I do understand that there are some situations where, maybe you did a big webinar and you have somebody who paid who had, buyer's remorse and you have to give some money back. Hopefully, when you're in a good reciprocal relationship, that doesn't happen, but it can happen. So be very clear on how much you pay, what products you pay on, and when that payment comes, and make it right away. Don't make people chase you for the money on a power partnership.
Yeah, and I'm just going to add here, also be really thorough on what they pay on, because I also got into a relationship where they, loved working with them, had all the right parts, but when it came to the pay, and they said, "Oh, we'll make a lot of money," and I tend to not so much focus on the money, but then at the end of the day, when I started asking more questions and getting into the relationship, their life cycle of the client was around $30,000, and they only paid on the first sale, which was the smallest sale of $1,500. So I had built this whole thing around it, brought them to events, to speak and all of this stuff based upon what they were telling me. And then when we got down to the nuts and bolts, really it was a one-time payment on the lowest thing that they were selling. So really get clear on what that looks like. We also, much like Juliet, we pay 10% for the life of the referral. So even if they don't do anything until, a year or two down the road, we want to honor that introduction and honor that relationship.
Yeah. And back on that too, I also had an experience where the product was changed up. So I sent people to the event I had to chase down 3 months later for the commission on that event, the power partner money for it. And then she said, oh, well, we closed the close and you don't get paid any of it. And I actually sent people who bought $15,000 worth of products. So you can imagine I was not happy and I never did business with her again. Introduction standards. This is, remember I told you about the link with JVs. This is not a link situation where you give somebody a link and you drive traffic to it. This is a personal introduction. Your integrity with your clients and that personal introduction makes it much easier for those people to trust this person you're actually introducing to. And even better on that, it makes the close on the other side easier because the person who has introduced you has already vouched for your product, vouched that there's a need, and vouched that you're the person for this job. So when we introduce people, we always do it by text or by email. That way you can turn around, answer quickly, give them a calendar, and get them going. We don't use links for anything introduction wise anymore because we don't want a dead list. We want people to know that these are our people and we want our clients taken care of.
Yeah, and this gets back to I had somebody I'd worked with for like 3 or 4 years, and I always made introductions, and all of a sudden they said, we're not going to do introductions anymore. And I have to tell you, it was very a great revenue source because I could make the introductions and they could get on the phone. Well, when they went to links, again, it was me trying to close their website, trying to convert. It doesn't work. And so, really that introduction is powerful. At the end of this, we're going to share a workshop that we're doing. We're actually going to share with you some of the systems that we use to make the introduction standard, make sure your brand is represented, and make sure that it's really simple. Some of those systems of the Power Partner that makes it easy. Anything else on that, Juliet?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. How to be a great power partner. Finding your ideal power partners. So part of it is what's being ready. What is it? Juliet, do you want to talk a little bit about finding your ideal power partners?
Yes. So I'm actually going to give this to you guys as an exercise to do if you're interested in it. Sit down and think about the people you know that have products that could be accessory products to yours. So what I mean by that is one of my power partners is a podcaster. My authors quite often come to me and they don't have content established. So that's a good referral partner for me. Now, vetting. There are a lot of podcast companies out there. Who am I going to go with? Who's that friend I'm going to do that with? So you really have to sit down and make a list of what is it you would like to be sell. Sure, I can speak English. What you would like to sell. Who are those partners that you would like to be affiliated? Hopefully you know them already. You've been doing a little bit of business. They're a friend. And if they're not already, then sit down and make that list and then go after them in a power partner way. But don't just say, hey, be my power partner. You need to really vet and find out, would they be a good fit? So it's really looking at the products. What could you add as an accessory? There's a couple of people on here that are really great partners for me because owning a publishing company, we have to have marketing. I have marketing people that are my power partners. That can market books. So looking at your overall business and who would be good partners that you could refer to maybe before the process starts or after it. So I quite often refer book developers on the front end and marketing partners on the back end.
Yes, Juliet, I also know you may have already said this. Sorry, I was typing something else about the people that you already work with that you love to work with. Did you mention the fact that it's not necessarily your friends or family?
I didn't, but actually,
Okay.
if it's your friends, some of mine happen to be friends. But here's the thing to be careful of: if they're not going to be reciprocal partners, your friends, take a good hard look before you approach them. Because I actually had this happen in real estate. I had to fire my best friend And there is nothing worse for a relationship than a friend that doesn't step up into what we're doing here business wise. So be sure to vet those friends. Family members, same thing. If they don't produce, you've got a relationship there to ruin, and your family is probably the most important thing to you. And while you would love to give them business, you need to make sure that they can actually perform without nagging. Because remember, especially you women, you know, if you're proactive at business, you're great. If you're proactive at home, you've probably been labeled a nag. So make sure that doesn't happen with those family members.
Awesome. Vetting for the perfect fit.
Yes, you need to vet these people. And that's what the checklist you have is all about, is looking at, are you ready to be a power partner? Do you have the marketing tools? Do you have everything that they need to market you? Do you have the products? Also going and looking at their marketing. That's one of the things that I really appreciate about my power partners. I would say that all of them are better marketers than I am, which hurts my feelings, but it makes me a better marketer. So looking for the perfect fit. Is this person, they may be great at selling your products, but are they going to be able to make your business better more than monetarily? So really vetting, going through that checklist we gave you, making sure that you have everything in place, but also using that when you vet to make sure that they have everything in place as well. Toolboxes. There are lots of toolboxes for success. And this is one area where that checklist comes in really handy, because you could have some unique tools that you can share with partners. I know I learned from Shannon all the time. My big thing is communication, because I'm so direct. I put people off sometimes. Shannon is great in that toolbox for success of coming in and reframing it into a softer tone. Tracy Hazard, who's also one of my power partners. Again, great way to reframe. They're both very direct, wonderful partners, but they just communicate a little bit better than I do. So again, it's looking for those things in their toolbox that could help you be ready to receive some new skills or receive some new friendships on it too. Because remember, at the end of the day, these are not people that you're going to just send a link to. You're going to be meeting with them all the time. I know all my power partners' families. I know what's going on in their lives. I know when to dig in and say we need to do this, and I know when to back off when they're going through some personal stuff. So it really is much, much more intimate than just a client relationship or a business relationship in general.
Yeah, and we also talk about some of the systems and tools for automation. I know Juliet, when I first started working with her, she had a booking calendar and she had a form to fill out, and so there were things that really made it easy for her and me to work within the system and have it work effectively. There's also tools that you have to look at to make it easy for your partner to market and know what you're doing and know what you're up to. In affiliate marketing, they call it swipes. So it's like you want to make things that become easy for the partnership to work. And I know in the upcoming workshop, we're going to talk a little bit about white labeling too. Sometimes you can identify a power partner and there can be some great white labeling opportunities. Does everybody know what white labeling is?
No, I don't know what it is.
Okay.
So go ahead, Julia.
So white labeling is when you take an accessory product. A great example of this is something I do with Shannon. She has a product that is perfect for authors. What I do, because I'm the messaging warehouse for everything that goes on with a book, is I will sell her product, but I will mark it up and stay involved to make sure we stay on message. So people, even though I sell it, I don't think they truly, at the end of the day, know that it's not a product that Shannon has on her own. We've made it a collaborative product that I can sell, and I don't need to send them to her to sell. I can sell it. I know what the price is. I know what it is. I can mark it up and sell it on my own. Does that make sense?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Any other tools that you found that you want to share here, Juliet, before we move on?
No, I just think having the forms in place to do good evaluations, having the checklist handy, being able to automate a lot of this, and having other, partners that can look over some of your stuff and make constructive comments.
Beautiful. So you're tired of relying on traditional methods, marketing methods that really aren't working anymore. We'd love to invite you to join us. Juliet, I don't know if you guys know this. If you haven't downloaded, she's got breakthroughauthormagazine.com, have put together a powerful partnership playbook, which I look at it as like a pretty amazing workbook. So we're also going to be doing that in conjunction with a workshop, and these will be some strategies for building a thriving power partners within your business. Juliet, you want to talk a little bit more about some of the next pieces?
Yeah, so the workshop is going to cover 4 main areas that we're going to go over here. This is not something that happens overnight. You really have to put the work into it with vetting. So looking at the first thing we're going to go over is how to grow to really take the strategic power partnership to the next level. So who are those? How do you build relationships with those complementary partners? How do you brainstorm ideas, solutions, and promotions? You're looking at something that Shannon and I brainstormed in a power partnership session right here. Divvying out, how do we activate new connections and generate more revenue? Every month, I send out a lot of my things that I have my events to my power partners. They share, vice versa. So, what are those trainings we can share? What can we do? It also reduces the pressure on yourself to constantly generate leads. If you're someone who is constantly in lead mode because you take your, let's say I just finished an AI class, the first author AI class today. Now I have to go generate for June. Well, I've already got power partners that sent me 2 people for June already. So now it constantly takes off that pressure to generate new leads for me and puts me in the zone of genius where I'm really good, which may or may not be lead generation. I will tell you personally, when I started doing this back in 2017, I had about a 50% referral rate, people referring to me. I'm like the cobbler's kid who has no shoes now, because my referral rate is about 90%, which means the other 10% of my clients I generate myself. The 90 come from my power partners. And I think that's where we all want to be with this once you get really good at it.
I love it. It's kind of like making money while you're sleeping. It's like you could have this surprise the next day of, oh my gosh, I got a new sale. So
isn't that what they say about the affiliates, the cash machine, which I always tell people the cash machine is a myth. If you really want to get on that cash machine with affiliate marketing, go out and find the Loch Ness monster and get the little key from around its neck. The second part we're going to go over in this workshop is being able to evaluate. How do you evaluate the mindset of a new partner, or a potential partner? How do you evaluate their marketing? And do you have a target market or ideal client base that resonates? If you have 2 different target markets, this isn't going to work. Back in 2015, I actually did this with someone who had a 6 figures in 6 months platform, one of those kind of get rich quick schemes. And I had a massive unsubscribe, because that's not what my people were there for. They were there for long-term sustainable growth. So you do definitely need to make sure that your target markets mesh in order for this to work. Also, we're going to get in deeper, understanding the differences between JV partners and power partners. I will tell you, I had an experience going into an organization I was a part of, where a big player reached out and she wanted to be a power partner. We seemed to mesh, all was good, but then she didn't want to meet with me monthly. She just wanted to send out a mass email to everybody in our partnership group telling us what we could sell for her this month. That is not a power partnership. And needless to say, I unsubscribed, deleted, did no business with her at all. And then also, learning why these affiliates and JVs are limited in today's world. And so we're going to talk a lot about that and how you can overcome it. We're not saying don't use it, because I myself, I have affiliate products that I sell that are good for my clients, and I know they're good for my clients, but that's not the way you should be making all of your money. Something I read a while back was the average millionaire has 7 different streams of income. That's where you can use some of these, but then have other streams of income as well. We are also going to get deeply into identifying power partners. So I kind of gave you guys that assignment a few minutes ago about start writing down who those people are and really vetting them. We're going to get really deep into that and how to streamline the partner onboarding. For me, I have forms you have to fill out, and then I sort of consider, do I want to go forward with this? Also, how to automate that power partner system. So how do you get reminders out there to remind people to sign up? So for your monthly talk. Do you have something put together that you can easily share a power partner, a literal cut and paste or an attachment for each partner? And has that partner collaborated with you to write that message so that they know how they're being shared as well?
I know that kctfo.com, King's Council Trust Family Office, they actually built an entire video series that takes people through. When you go and sign up, you're able to watch these short videos to be able to connect with what they're looking for and see if it's a good fit. And then you go through at some point answering a little bit of a questionnaire, and then by the time you meet with them, it's kind of doing a little bit of due diligence on both of them. So they've built an entire system that's helped them be able to work through people that are interested in getting involved.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And then the other part of it, the relationships are essential. Spending time with your partners. I actually drove down to Phoenix. I live in Salt Lake, to help one of my partners with a booth she had down there because she was speaking. I already knew her business inside and out. So I flew down. I got to spend the day with her and her husband and be able to meet some new people, go to the event. So, you really need to spend time supporting these people. And really avoiding common mistakes. There are a lot of mistakes you can make here. The biggest one is the wrong partner. So that's why we're going to dive so deeply into this course. And then being able to evaluate the ROI. One of the things that really irked me about the JVs was I put a lot of effort into something and didn't feel like I got the ROI out of it. And this is a way to really evaluate, is this partner going to be good? And then watching throughout the year. And when I say ROI, return on investment, I don't necessarily just mean money. So if I have Shannon and all my other partners and they're helping me with my marketing, that actually means I don't have to go out and hire a marketing professional. And at the cost of marketing professionals these days, that's a pretty high ticket item. So I appreciate, even if I'm not directly getting business from them today, I am getting the relationship and I'm getting help with things that are vital to my business and my business growth.
Yeah, and you'll find that as you get into the partnership, as you meet with them, you're going to find other ways of connecting them in your business to help each other out beyond that. I know there's been times where, I've said Connie's also one of our power partners with the band, and it's like we did an event and we listed all the people in a news release that went all over. So as you start connecting and building that relationship and nurturing that relationship and getting to know them, it's just going to fall into place. You'll easily be able to see ways to connect and collaborate. So, Juliet, I know we have a couple more things at the end, a couple more goodies.
We do. So we have a workshop coming up, and I have to tell you, we've said it several times, this is not as much about the money to us as sharing this with our trusted partners, clients, and everybody. We have a workshop that we are going to teach this to you. It's 2 hours on May 16th from 12 to 2 Eastern time. And you can sign up at powerpartnermastery.com. This workshop is $47. So you can tell we're not really invested in the money, because $47 isn't even going to get us a pizza probably these days. But we'd like to invite you all to join and play with us on this. We have a 26-page playbook that we're going to take you guys through and get you started on how to evaluate. There are just so many things in there. Really getting into that right partner, right connection, history of service, the relationships, all of it in that 2-hour period.
Beautiful. So we want to open up for Q&A, but I wanted to, Juliet, we just want to talk about some ideas of what you could leave with. And I know you mentioned make a list of your ideal partners. Those of you that are joining the workshop, that's a great way to get started. Look at what feels right as a power partner. We'll walk you through the process of elimination. So when you show up to this, if you can have those ideal partners as a list, then it'll be great, because we'll be able to use them as examples of why it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Mm-hmm. Definitely on that. And then also taking a real good look at your funnel. So that checklist you have, what does your funnel look like? Do you really have the marketing tools that you're ready for a bigger player partner that can help you with that? So it is important to get not only your ducks in a row and with what you're doing, but also making sure that those partners have all their ducks in the row to be able to efficiently do this.
And then also, we would love for you to complete the checklist, just to, and send that in before the event. And that way we can really look at some of those gaps that are there. I wanted to add, Juliet, I didn't talk to you about this, but there was a couple of things that are missing from that checklist. So if you want to grab that and write this down now, one of them is the credibility card, and the other is the strategic introduction. So those are things that I missed, Juliet, when we did that.
Putting on there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And we definitely have those in the workbook, and how to put those together for your partners.
And you do get the workbook when you sign up. So just know that when you sign up, you don't have to wait the 2 weeks for the class. You can actually start going through it and looking through it. And that way, when you show up, you're ready to go. And I think, Juliet, now we can open up for Q&A.
Okay.
And Fran, go
She's
ahead.
so polite. She raised her hand.
Stop sharing.
Thank you. This was really wonderful. Thank you, Juliet and Shannon. And I have gotten to see how power partners work. I've been calling them joint ventures, strategic partners for years and using it, but this is so organized, and the training and knowing how to prepare other people is really big for me. And I'm just so excited to be here. And I have one question I was hoping that either we'll address today or that you'll address during the workshop. And since it has been so beneficial for me to have all these power partners, I do not know how to deal with multiple level partners. So when one person is the initial partner and refers me to other power partners, are you going to be discussing how to be fair to everybody in that stream?
So
That is
you're
such
talking
an
about like compensation,
question.
right?
Yeah. Compensation. Yeah.
Compensation, or whatever else you need to do. If you want to consider, like one of my power partners might not even know that I acknowledged another partner who referred me to them. They might not know that, and makes me feel like I might have left them out of the loop.
So are you saying like maybe Shannon referred somebody to me and I referred them to you?
Yes.
You know what? We don't really deal with that. I know we've had situations like that before. And for the most part, we're kind of a power partner circle. So I don't think there's an expectation to a second tier there. I know somebody else on this call dealt with this many years ago, where someone referred someone to me, I referred to him, and the original referrer came back and wanted to be paid. And I don't think there's really room for that in the partnership. I know they do it with affiliates, but you're making the determination as the person who has that client at a particular moment, what the next step is. And that's another place where I want everybody to be cognizant. There are a lot of coaches out there who will keep you in their loop forever and ever and ever. And I don't like to be a coach like that. I like to be like, you are all my children. And once you're grown, I'm going to push you off the ledge into the world. And you're welcome to come back and get advice, but I'm not one of those people who's going to keep you in my circle for years and years and years because I want you to grow. So I've never considered that as part of this because you're providing them to the next step to growth.
Thank you.
And
I just want to make sure. I'm sorry, Sharon.
No, and I was going to say, I know that I've had in the past where somebody made an introduction, and I imagine this probably happens quite a bit with you, Dale, is that somebody makes an introduction a long time ago, but they don't really do anything, and then somebody comes back. So I usually just have a conversation with them both, right? And just say, hey, and most of the time they're, it works out on its own. I have not had any challenges with that piece.
Fran, you just reminded me, I actually have a clause in my contract that says that referral is only good for a year. I just remembered that because it's been so long since I've read through that contract. So if somebody comes back after a year, usually I'll give them a partial. I think where you get into a little bit of trouble here and why that contract is so important is I've actually had someone refer, they didn't come in, and then somebody else a year or two later will refer them again, and then they buy. So I think that's where that time piece in there is very important in the contract so that you're covered. And, that's just somebody referring it on a premature basis too. So they may not have been ready.
I like to consider myself an over communicator, and I'm just wondering if it's over communicating when I have to keep saying, well, I got this person, thank you. And, somebody else referred, or how much, like if you're a real partner, you don't go through you don't have to be so, watch it so closely, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And Juliet, I forgot to add to one of the slides, we're actually going to be touching on the agreements for collaboration in the Power Partner workshop. This is one of the core things of really setting that foundation and having that conversation up front. I mean, each of us have different communication styles. I may like text, Juliet may like email, right? You really want to know how to best work together, and also how to resolve conflict when it comes up, because at the end of the day, conflict happens, right? It's just part of being in relationships. And so we talk about that up front of how to navigate that when it comes up and stay committed to the vision and the intention of the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Dale.
Thank you. A quick note, Fran, I can't stress how important it is, Juliet mentioned the time limit to the introduction. Because a lot of people, especially in the capital raising space, well, I knew somebody. Yeah, but if they didn't write a check today, but somebody else came back and they knew the same person and they did write the check, not everybody's in the same place mentally, spiritually and financially at the same time. So if someone helps at a later date, I say it's good to call them out on it and honor all of the relationships and let everybody be big boys and girls, as it were. But time is key, and also the conflict resolution. I can't stress that enough in your written agreements, which should always be a lagging indicator to what you agree in the spirit in the first place.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm overstating that, but just wanted to pass that along in our experience.
Thank you, Dale.
And I'm going to add to that as well. One of the things we're going to talk about in the workshop is part of being a good partner is understanding the other person's products that you're referring to and making sure before you make that referral that this is in the budget of the person you're referring. The last thing you want as a partner, and I hope this is not insulting, I call them the broke ass people, because there are a lot of them in the coaching world. You don't want to keep referring broke people to your power partners. So you really do need to jump in and ask some questions before you refer. This is the price point of what this will cost for the book marketing. Is that something that you would like an introduction to? So they may not have the money today, but at least they have the expectation that they're going to spend X amount of dollars in advance. And they have the opportunity to say, no, I can't go there right now. Why don't we wait 6 months, or, make the introduction, but let them know that I'm not in a position today. I'm still vetting. So the communication between you and your client is important to make sure that you don't keep introducing broke people to your power partners. You don't get points for no sales closings.
So my question was, thank you, Juliet. I find myself saying no a lot, and it would be really great to have a partner that can actually write a prescription for those that suffer from premature collaboration. Do you have such a partner? Because it's not like, no, we want to just leave you behind. I'm very much the good Samaritan, but I can help you, but it's under my terms and conditions. If someone's genuinely interested, but they just don't have the relationship or the communication skills or whatever the case may be, do you have somebody that can actually work with somebody, get what they need when they're ready, and then come back?
I'm not quite understanding the question.
I think so. Let me read it back to you, make sure. Is how do you deal with people that may not be ready? Because there are people that are not ready to be able to do the collaboration. They think they're ready, but they're not ready. Is that right, Dale?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's a big reason why we're doing this workshop, is because a lot of people think they're ready and they're really not ready. And so
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
I know for me, it's like helping them identify what's there or being able to say no. I mean, Juliet, what is your thought when somebody's not ready? I love sorry, let me just interject. I love the thing, like, if there's somebody where I definitely know it's not a good fit, I'll say, you know what, I love what you're doing. I wish you the best of luck. We're kind of going in different directions right now. Let's, maybe check back in the future, or just, I wish you the best of luck. If there's things that I can help them identify, you know what, you need these few things, I'll let them know. These are things that we need to be ready. Once you get those ready, let's revisit and see where we're at.
Mm-hmm. That's probably what I would do. But I think the first thing is I go over and make sure before I even answered, I would go do the research on their product before we even got to that call, because it may turn out that it's not something, I'm wasting my time telling them to get XYZ in order if I'm never going to sell their product for them. So I think there's a lot of research that has to be done in advance. Now, if it's somebody that's new, and I just ran across this, she's newer to the business, she has products that are great, I've offered to mentor her to a certain extent. So we're getting that checklist together, and we're doing, seeing what she needs to do. And we'll see if it works. But she has a product that my clients need badly. So you really have to evaluate that part of the equation. And if you're going to like them.
And after
Thank you.
Daryl,
I'm
go
looking
ahead.
forward to your class. I need help here. Been doing this a long time, and I just don't like to leave folks out in the cold. If I can give them something, to your point, Shannon, go do this and then come back. That's better than just a short no, like a variable question of ABC, but you still didn't know. You didn't learn what you got wrong, and there's no education as to how I can do better the next time. So I like the idea of leaving them something behind, as it were. So anyway, see you next month. Thank you all for doing this.
And Dale's already signed up. He was our first person. I'm really excited.
This is a big deal. For real, it is.
Other questions?
Daryl, and then after Daryl, I don't know if Justin is still here. If he left, I do have a question. I'm going to put him in the love seat, Juliet, just to see after. But let's do Daryl first.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing? How are you doing?
Good.
Okay. Happy crowd. Okay. My question is, on the ground floor, let's say, I know maybe state and federal and this and that, but let's say, like, from my aspect, I call mine a compensation agreement. When people, refer me people, whether it be sponsorship, donation, or whatever, I call it a compensation agreement. Is there a legal name I should be calling it? Because a long time ago, I heard it is supposed to be like, don't call it a compensation agreement. I was told that a long time ago, but I never found out why. So I didn't put no faith in what they were saying, because they couldn't. I never heard of the state and federal way, like, don't say that word. So I had never heard that. So do you guys know, or should we just leave it as a
No, I think it's not. I
agreement?
think it's. I don't think it's not say that word. I think it's illegal. So there's literally there may be ways around it with a different way of raising capital. And I know you may want to check out kctfo.com because they do some things with sponsorship and membership and royalty covenants. So they do have a specific way that gets it in a jurisdiction. But if you're in that jurisdiction, that nonprofits have certain legal rules and the SEC has certain legal rules. And Nancy Mayer could definitely probably talk to this. Nancy, Juliet, is it okay if I ask Nancy real quick if she has anything on this piece?
Only if she'll play golf with me this weekend.
Okay, Nancy, are you going to play golf this weekend?
Well,
Nancy,
actually,
go play golf with her, Nancy.
yeah, I'm going to reach out because there's something AI related that I think could be great, and then we could go play golf afterwards. Well, yeah, I mean, it depends if you're talking about fundraising versus, because there are a lot of legalese in fundraising, and you cap tables and, that kind of stuff. As far as the introductions for sponsorships, I mean, that's more of a service, a kind of finder's fee. So I think it depends on the actual situation. Does that answer? I mean, Dale, do you know more?
Yeah, I think it
I
always.
know a lot more, but it's beyond this conversation
yeah.
in the window of time that we do. So,
Yep.
Daryl, if you wouldn't mind, I'll just drop my information. Be glad to talk to you a few minutes and maybe help there if I can. I'll just put that out there.
Okay.
And there are.
Thank you. I appreciate
Oh, sorry. There are industries where you will need to check. I know if you're a financial planner, there are some of the things that have really strict regulations that you may not be able to do this with. So, this is definitely something for, mostly coaches, psychologists, people like that. But if you're in a financial industry, chances are you will not be able to do this. Real estate, it's really hard to do this as well because you can give referrals to other agents, other brokerages, but you can't give it to an individual. So you really need to check your industry and see if this is something that is legal.
Yeah, and fundraising can take on a lot of different connotations depending on the industry, just like Juliet was saying, so if you're in a not-for-profit and you're fundraising, it's donations, which is very different than if you're a startup and you're actually looking at raising
Investors.
funds through equities and different types of vehicles. So.
Yeah, because I have different things. Because I have my memberships that I sell. So if somebody help me sell a membership, I pay them some money. You know what I'm saying, and things like that. That's why I said there's different ways. Like you said, like I have 100 million shares of stock. Of course, that's SEC stuff, so you don't want to play with those games. But I'm talking about, let's say, like if a person helped me bring in a donation or something, then I want to compensate them. Like I said, a sponsorship. Things on that smaller level, I didn't know if like there was a certain word you had to use or not. So I will definitely copy and paste Dale. And by the way, she the incredible Miss Shannon already told me about you. So I was going to reach out to you anyway.
Awesome.
Matter of fact, I went to your website.
Awesome. Thank you. I know anybody that needs to go, please, thank you so much for being here today, Juliet. I just have one more question about speakers and partnership and collaboration. I'm going to kind of throw a curveball challenge at you really quick, if that's okay.
Okay.
Because my brain's thinking about it. We have Justin Leslie here, who is a Pfizer whistleblower, did a documentary film that launched it. He's 26 years old, just amazing. And I know he is looking for partners, and part of his mission and vision is to get out there and speak more and connect with individuals on that as speaking. Do you see, and I know he's also got some health products and some other things that he's passionate about, but what do you see are some possibilities for a power partner? Somebody's a speaker or a thought leader. What's your opinion on that?
Well, first of all, I would go over to PitchDB and get yourself signed up, because you can get yourself on podcasts. It's a new AI platform that helps connect you and send out pitches. So go over to PitchDB and get yourself on there. Power partners, that's a tough one, because you are a whistleblower, which I highly like. I just think you have so much courage, but that could also be a little bit discouraging in the same sense. So I'm not actually sure who a good power partner would be.
Yeah, one problem I think I have is that I have two employers and I had to blow the whistle on both of them, based off of, my young career. So, it's like references don't exactly exist for me right now. It's more like I have good relationships with people that I can refer to. But I mean, when things didn't go my way on either opportunity with Pfizer and Project Veritas, et cetera, I I have to have faith and, use my courage and hope that things will work out in the future, you know, and follow my ethics.
Do you
I
know
just got an idea too.
one of the things you might do is look at the people that are out there that are sort of you know, anti-Pfizer right now, connecting with those people and getting your story out. I don't know, someone like Cheryl Atkinson, reach out, listen to her podcast, reach out and see if you can get booked there. Investigative reporters. I mean, I don't know that they're power partners as much as getting you publicity that other people would hear your story and want to connect and promote you as well. So I think power partners, a little premature, but maybe get in with some influencers who can get you out there and have people start approaching you to be a power partner.
The thing that just came up for me, Juliet, is you and I partnered on doing this event together. Maybe
Yeah.
there's some sort of interview or talk or something that he's able to partner with just on a, not maybe a long-term thing, but on a project specific. What are your thoughts on a project specific as opposed to long-term? Is that a little more of a joint venture, or what's your thoughts on that?
I don't think it's a joint venture as much as figuring out what you're going to sell, what you're promoting, how you're going to promote it. I hate to do this because I don't watch mainstream media news much, but
Me neither.
yeah, maybe go over to a Newsmax or a Fox, see who the influencers are that are talking about the, what's going wrong with Pfizer. There's a lot of alternative media out there that you could probably connect with and partner on some things. I see Jay Bhattacharya out there a lot, and I think they're putting together some events and things like that. So just kind of see who the influencers are that are speaking out in this area that you have a lot of expertise in, and see what kind of events they're going to and what kind of events they're promoting, and if there's room for you in there.
Thank you, Juliet.
Thank you, Juliet. Any other questions before we say goodbye?
Yeah, and just one other quick idea talking about influencers. I'd look at Substack, and who's talking on that, because of the fact that there's a lot less controls. And so, someone like, so I'd say look at people on Substack and do some research, because they can actually talk about that and help you promote. Like Ann Coulter now is like strictly on Substack, so there's a lot of whistleblower and that type of thing that you might be able to find there.
And you might be able to get yourself on there as well and start writing articles. So that's where she's talking about Ann Coulter. Matt Taibbi is over there. Michael Schellenberg. All of those guys are alternative media now, that are talking about this a lot. And they're talking about it there because there aren't the censorship restrictions that there are on so many. And I know you're already on Rumble gathering a crowd over there, because they're not going any place with their censorship either. They're all in on no censorship. I think that's your biggest problem right now, is there's so much censorship.
Yeah, there's a lot, or shadow banning in the sense of just restricting viewership, like with algorithms.
Yeah, I'll just give you a hint. Go follow Matt Taibbi and watch what he's doing. Matt Taibbi writes a lot of articles. He used to be the Rolling Stone guy until Russiagate. And he's actually doing audio. I'm subscribed to him. Substack also allows you to contribute. So I know you need to raise a little bit of revenue. So you could raise some money there as well if people subscribe. But he actually sends out, when you subscribe, a voicemail, like a 20-minute voicemail a couple times a week about his articles as well.
Good to know. I should probably start using Substack.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. He's part of our Tomorrow's Leaders today. So we love that you're here, Justin, as our future leaders and carrying the torch for for us as we move forward. After the event, you will get a feedback request via email. We'd love to hear your feedback. We'd love to know things that stood out, highlights, and also if there's anything else that we can do to support you, please reach out. We really hope that we're going to see you in 2 weeks. We're going to be diving in deep, and once you sign up, you'll get your workbook shortly, so you can start getting ahead and setting up what's there. Juliet, any final words?
No, I think that's it. You guys are a great crowd. Thank you.
Thank you for this. It was really wonderful.
Perfect.
Thanks so
Thank
much to
you.
both
much.
of you.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank
Bye
you.
for now.
Are you staying on, Shannon? Can you
I
turn the
can.
recording?
Let me stop the recording.
Oh, did Dale leave? Oh.